Welcome in to the Pay Dirt Profile Podcast. This is Dante.
Tony.
Kyle.
Jamar.
We're out of order.
That was my last time. I thought you still wanted it.
I thought Kyle forgot his name there for a second.
No, we out of order.
Yeah, we're still out of order. Jamar's still at home. So we're still trying to do this call-in thing. So as we said the last pod, if there are some audio issues, we apologize. But today we want to get into a little exercise we had seen. Tony pulled up a diagram showing best team you could make with, $1 player, $4 player, 3, 2, 5. Yeah, all out of order.
Why'd you go out of order?
Dante forgot how to count.
Yeah,
Kyle forgot his name. Maybe we should start over
Let's
again.
start the whole podcast over. This is the second time we started it over. But we'll kind of tell you what players that we selected to make our fantasy teams. And then speaking of fantasy, we're going to do a 2-round dynasty mock draft, a 12-teamer. So each one of us will take a player, and we'll go one after another and then do like a little bit of discussion of who we think could go at what slot and how they could impact fantasy this year. Before we get started, I want to just remind everybody you can find our podcast basically wherever you listen to them. You're probably listening to us right now on Sounder FM. If there are any places that you're interested, always let us know. And lastly, you can always speak with us via any of our social medias at the Pay Dirt Profile and the group on Facebook, the Pay Dirt Profile Podcast. So we had this team selection. Tony, how about you take us away?
All right. So, it's one of those things that you always see on the internet, and it's build your best squad. You have $15 to spend. There's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 dollar athletes. The $5 tier, we got Tom Brady, Barry Sanders, Jerry Rice, Randy Moss. The $4 tier, you got Joe Montana, T.O. as an Eagle, Megatron, and Emmitt Smith. The $3 tier, you got Peyton Manning, LaDainian Tomlinson, Gronk, and Gonzalez, tight end out of Kansas City. $2 tier, you got Brett Favre, Pat Mahomes, Antonio Gates. I don't know. Do you guys know who that one, the last one in the $2 tab is?
Tim Brown.
Tim Brown. Mm-hmm. $1 tier, you got Jason Witten, Larry Fitzgerald, Marshall Faulk, and Adrian Peterson. So you got some big names across the whole board.
And note roster construction: 1 quarterback, 2 receivers, 1 running back, 1 tight end.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Which is always big because sometimes people are like, "Oh, I'm just gonna load up on all receivers." Like, nah, bro, this is not a Cliff Kingsbury offense. So what I told Kyle in our group text, like, if you take Tom Brady, you're a fish.
And then,
so
so I saw this on Barstool a couple days ago.
Yeah,
and I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, this is too easy," right? You go through, and then I picked who I wanted. The guy who wrote the article, he had the same roster. I was like, "Oh, this is way too easy."
Wait, what? What's your roster?
I had picked that one out like that because that would be the best roster, which I know. I already talked to Dante prior to this, and I picked out his roster.
It's clearly the best.
It's clearly the best roster. So if you wanted to say a roster, you can go ahead and call it out.
What's the best roster?
Okay, this is the plus EV best roster that you could have. $2. Tony Gonzalez. Psych, just kidding.
No, he's $3, but yeah.
He's $3.
$2. Patrick Mahomes. Start off with young, strong arm, can play in multiple systems. Then we got running back. $1, you're paying down, like we always talk about. Running backs matter, but in this one, you get a $1 Adrian Peterson, beast mode. Now we're also going to go back up to the top. We're going to take our $5 wide receiver, arguably the greatest of all time, Jerry Rice.
Well, who's arguing with you?
there's some people out there who don't really feel, and
Tweet at us.
I don't know. I mean, he has all the stats, he has all longevity, he has the work ethic, he has all the stuff. So, the GOAT. So then I'm going down receiver 2 and going Megatron. Because I have Jerry Rice, route runner extraordinaire, catch the ball underneath, all 3 levels. Megatron, unguardable. Don't matter where, unguardable. And then Patrick Mahomes to get you the ball wherever you need to. Then lastly, so I had $9. Patrick Mahomes got me to 11. Then Adrian Peterson got me to 12. So then I got $3. Gronk.
Well, it's too easy,
Easy.
right?
Easy.
That's the easiest,
Easy money.
best roster. And Tony, I don't know what your roster would be.
That is not my roster.
He doesn't
Oh.
have the right one.
It's close. It's close. I mean, Pat Mahomes at $2 is a
It's too
steal.
easy.
It's a steal.
Yes.
If you don't pick Pat Mahomes at $2, you're ridiculous.
Yeah.
Or smart like me.
Baby.
So then, wide receivers. Well, I'll go running back because I think this duo would be insanity. LT, and Pat Mahomes. You can't tell me that's not a good pick. So you got Mahomes at $2, LT at 3, so I'm at 5. Mm-hmm. Then we're going Megatron because you have to go Megatron at $4, so you're at 9. Then I'm going Randy Moss. You got Megatron, Randy Moss at $5,
okay.
and then just to round it out, you got a good blocking tight end, good check down tight end. Jason Witten
The ultimate
at $1.
check down tight
Jason
end.
Witten.
At $1.
So
All right, wait. Let's let Jamar get his in because you can finish, Kyle. All right, Jamar, give us your list.
So my list is actually pretty close to Tony's. One slight difference. $5, I'm coming in with Jerry Rice, best all time. $4, I'm coming in with Megatron. $3, of course. Who else would I choose other than LaDainian Tomlinson? $2, got to go Big Pat Mahomes, and then that $1, Jason Witten. What I'm kind of confused, and I'm kind of curious what you guys think about why we have Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, Brett Favre. Why would it be Pat Mahomes and not Drew Brees?
right, well, so I agree. Why aren't the values like similar, like a $5 tight end? I think the value system is off, but like
I think they just grab pictures and threw them on there.
yeah, like he's good right now.
Yeah.
So like I agree. It shouldn't like if you're gonna put one, I would probably like drop Brett Favre to $1, Drew Brees at $2, and then you could shuffle some of the other guys around. But yeah, you're right. It doesn't make any sense why he's in there for $2. This is full of Hall of Famers, which is part of my point.
Yeah. I think that was what you were talking about before when we were having this discussion. It was like, okay, you're trying to make this team, but it doesn't give you hard decisions.
Right.
Like,
Every single one here is a Hall of Famer.
right.
Like,
Or going
gonna-
to be, and it's just a foregone conclusion because they either just retired or they're still playing.
Right. Exactly.
All right, take us away. What's the best lineup that's not chalk?
Okay. So I know we talked about pay down for quarterbacks, this and that. But so I would build this team based on we're trying to win a Super Bowl, right?
Okay.
Okay. So if you can give me the best quarterback to ever do it in the playoffs, he's not the stat pattern, but he has a lot of stats. Okay. So we'll start with Tom Brady, $5.
Okay.
50% of the time he's going to get you to the Super Bowl, right? That's his career arc. Okay.
True.
Then I'm going to take another $5. Best receiver to ever do it in the playoffs, leading receiver in the history of the playoffs, Jerry Rice.
Doesn't leave you a lot of money there.
There's plenty left.
But there
Okay,
are
then
Hall
I'm going to
of
take.
Fame.
So I've got the best quarterback to ever play in the playoffs, the best receiver to ever play in the playoffs. I'm going to take Gronk at $3.
Okay.
Okay, the best tight end to ever play in the playoffs, maybe the best ever.
Okay.
Okay, then I'm going to take Larry Fitzgerald.
Your boy.
Averages over 100 yards a game in the playoffs and over 1 touchdown in the playoffs.
Okay.
Okay, so he's played 10 games, and I know you can give me Megatron. He played two playoff games. One good, one bad.
Mm-hmm.
Randy, he was very subpar in playoff games. T.O. is just going to be too expensive. Tim Brown will pass. So I got Larry Fitzgerald, who had arguably the best playoff postseason as a receiver ever. Mm-hmm. Right? And then I'm going to round it out with Marshall Faulk.
That's a good team.
So the best receiving running back, maybe one of the best to ever do it, and four of the guys who've been the best at their position in the playoffs.
That's pretty good.
Every team that I mocked up, I wanted to get Fitz in there so bad.
What? So he $1?
Yeah.
Well, but I think it's just like when you're playing like DraftKings. Like there's certain roster constructions you're gonna have. Are you using the full 15? If you're using the full 15, there's only a certain amount of ways to go about it. You have to take two $5 guys basically. So like if you had wanted to get Fitzgerald, but then you also use Patrick Mahomes, like that wasn't really going to get you anywhere unless you also
like
wanted
Sanders and
like you would have to do like you'd have to have like Antonio Gates in there.
I can't believe you just shrugged off Barry Sanders. You know, like you'd have to take like just Barry Sanders,
but also get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
I want playoff proven.
I'm sure he would have if he had anybody around him besides the three of us.
Dude, all those.
Okay, but all five of those guys have done it in the playoffs.
Both those Lions guys, there's a theme. I don't know if you noticed, but they're both wearing Lions jerseys.
Yeah. But I talked about this with you prior to the pod, but I think the value system is off. Like I want Tom Brady as $5, but I want Trent Dilfer.
Yeah,
$1.
Yeah.
$2. Give me you take Brett Favre.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
But
put Matthew Stafford or Matt Ryan or Kirk Cousins at 3 or 2. So you actually have to make some decisions. Like I'll pay down for Patrick Mahomes. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was just too easy to get Mahomes, and you could do whatever else you wanted.
Right.
You could even go Mahomes, two of the best receivers, throwing a running back, and whoever at tight end.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go premier playoff players.
Yeah.
Like if Tom Brady's running that offense, I mean that's pretty nice.
I mean he has guys to throw to on all levels. You know he likes his check downs and his receiving running backs. He gets to throw to his guy Gronk. He gets to throw to
two of the best route runners out there.
Yeah.
And they can both make plays. Mm-hmm. This is probably assuming
Larry Fitzgerald is Julian Edelman or Wes Welker, but way better.
Well, don't forget that playoff run.
Mm-hmm.
The dude was still running by people.
Yeah, he
won the game for him.
Yeah.
You should have been slower and got caught. You let Fat Ben run down the field on you.
Oh my god.
But that's where my head's at. I mean, I think the Mahomes stuff was pretty easy.
Yeah, you have to pick Mahomes. But
off brand though.
What if you had to go with like a Manning-led roster? Okay. Jamar, you got a Manning-led roster. Where do you go?
And are we going to assume that they're basically running Manning's offense or something similar? Not just throw them into any offense?
Yeah. Just like you know the kind of guys that Peyton Manning likes. Like Peyton Manning's your quarterback. Jamar, where are you going? $3 starting.
Ugh. Peyton Manning's my quarterback. I'm 3, 6.
Talk us through it. Talk us through it. What numbers are you saying?
He's talking about gain 3 more for LT.
For whatever reason, and I'm not putting as much thought into it because it's on the spot, but I automatically I want to go back and keep LaDainian in the mix. I would probably never take him out of this lineup. So that puts me at automatic 6 because I'm forced to take Peyton Manning in this argument. With that 6, 7, 8, I might as well add Antonio. 8. I'm taking Jerry still. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, and then a 2. Oh, I don't think I can.
I mean, you have to take Tim Brown. That's your only option because you need 2 receivers. So
or Fitzgerald.
Receivers. Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
Go Fitzgerald.
Yeah, you can come in under. I'll let you go under.
$1 on the table.
Yeah, but why would I? You don't want. I don't want to do that either.
Here, I'll tell you mine because I've had some time to think about this. So Manning, $3. Jerry Rice, $5. Megatron, $4. Antonio Gates at $2, and Marshall Falk at $1.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
You kind of have to do Falk with Manning because number one, they play together, and then number two, like skill set wise, it was kind of like pairing Falk with Brady worked really well. But like when you have Marshall Falk as a $1 player, it gives you the ability to do a lot with your roster. Like I would probably go with Falk too to give me $4, and then I'm looking at Peyton Manning. You know, usually he had a big time slot receiver, so I'm gonna go Larry Fitzgerald. So then that gives me $5, and then basically at that point I can just take whoever I want. So it's like I'll take Jerry Rice at $5, and then I'm gonna leave a bunch of money on the table and go with Gronk. Like,
How about this? Peyton Manning, $3. Because he never really played with a good tight end. He didn't need a tight end. Dallas Clark was all right.
He played with a good tight end, but how much better did he make Dallas Clark? So I see where you're going.
Right. So I'm gonna go Peyton Manning.
Oh, don't forget Julius Thomas. He's legit.
Yeah, that was a one
Orange
year.
Julius.
He got paid, and then where's he at?
Yeah, right.
So I'm gonna take Peyton Manning, Jason Witten, because this is assuming prime.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a good player.
Yeah.
Yep.
Larry Fitzgerald, I'm at $5.
Mm-hmm.
Barry Sanders, Jerry Rice, or Barry Sanders, Randy Moss.
Still strong.
Because he likes, he got a solid tight end, good running back. Barry Sanders would be able to do whatever they need.
Right.
And then you just pick whichever of the best receivers and say, hey.
Yeah.
Because Peyton wasn't really trying to push it downfield.
Yeah. That's true. Well, I mean, there you have it. I mean, we had $15 to make one of the best teams of all time. I think we all went, and picked quality teams. I liked Kyle's thought process in trying to pick playoff proving guys. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna post this up. We'll see if anybody else in the group wants to try their hand, and anybody wants to try to give us feedback on Instagram, Twitter, and the like. Before we go over to our mock draft, you got anything else over there, Tony?
No, that's it.
All right. So what we want to do is, for the fantasy fans out there, we're going to do a 2-round mock draft. It'll be 12-team, half PPR. We're going to take a look at some of these draft prospects and kind of see where they could potentially be slotted in. Every draft is different, but in Dynasty, you're always looking at how a player can help you over the long haul. Certain leagues are different. Some of them you can activate players right away. Other ones you have on your roster for future years. So, to best encapsulate the type of draft, we're just gonna kind of take a look at who we consider like the best players. Clearly, running backs have a shorter shelf life than receivers. So, in your draft, receivers might have a higher value. But I think the easiest way to go about it is who's going to give you the best value. And if you're looking at a dynasty league, sometimes you're a 1 to 2, 3 year holding pattern. I personally like to take a look at who is going to help me out this year, and do they have 2 to 3 year potential, because I want to win every single year. I'm not trying to, gear up for later on, because you never know what's going to happen. So players with 2 or 3 year potential is what I personally look for. I think we'll go 1 through 4. We'll start with Jamar, then I'll go at 2. Then Tony will go at 3, and Kyle will go at 4, and then we'll go back to Jamar, and we'll make our way through the first 2 rounds. We'll go snake. So, Jamar, you're the first pick, and our Pay Dirt Profile Rookie Dynasty Mock.
All right. So based off of last year, and I don't know why I'm preparing it like this, but I went running back last year. I had the first pick in my rookie draft, and I will go running back again this year, just based off of it went well for me, with Josh Jacobs. I think I would probably go Jonathan Taylor. He's, the prototypical back, and I think, that's just who I would personally pick. I mean, the first pick in the draft, give me the best running back.
Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor, first off the board. All right. Running back, Wisconsin. I like that pick. Jonathan Taylor is definitely a bell cow type of player. Maybe is not the best pass catcher as far as, the players are concerned, but he could definitely catch the ball and help out. I am going to look at taking number 2, going along the same route. I'm gonna look to take running back out of Georgia, DeAndre Swift. He fits into this new wide open style of football. Right now, there's not too many teams that are super running back hungry, so he'll probably go to a team that has a need, but maybe not as bad of a team as maybe Jonathan Taylor will go to. So while he might get a little bit fewer carries, he might have more upside on a better offense. So, number 3.
Is that me?
Yep.
I'm going to go CeeDee Lamb.
That's a good one.
Just big old wide receiver pick, and hopefully he has longevity. I mean, first round receivers, you never know what you're going to get, but you gotta bet. And I mean, he was great last year in Oklahoma. So,
and heard some rumors that Philly's looking to get him.
Ooh,
we talked about that, I think, in one of the pods. But
that'd be interesting.
He'd automatically be a number 1.
Oh yeah,
exactly. That'd be a great pick.
Well, I mean, hopefully they actually throw to him opposed to throwing the tight ends every play. But yeah, it'd be big. All right, number 4.
J.K. Dobbins. I don't know if I think he might be the 3rd best, but I think his role in the NFL is possibly 3 down post goal line. At the very worst, I think he might fall to a fairly good team and have some upside within the next couple of years.
Yeah. Well, and with J.K. Dobbins too, I mean, he didn't do anything at the combine aside from a couple of things here and there, and have interviews. So right now, there's a lot of people who are kind of overlooking his value, but he's somebody with great contact balance, can really pick up the blitz on 3rd down, so you could really see him excelling there and being able to play early, because that's generally what keeps running backs off the field. So yeah, really great pick there.
And I watched him live against Clemson, and he was the reason why they were winning that game early. Yeah. He got hurt end of the first half, I believe, and they didn't look the same after.
Right.
He ran through that defense early on, though.
Yeah. And when you're looking at the types of defenses, Clemson, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Alabama, Alabama, those teams have strong defenses and kind of give you kind of approximations as far as talent goes. So if you can play well against that defense, then you have a decent shot in the NFL. All right, Jamar, back to you for pick number 5.
Back to me for pick number 5.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit. Jerry Jeudy's still on the table, right?
Yep.
I'm taking Jerry Jeudy. Come on my team, Jerry. Come on my team, sir. I think he's gonna beast in the league. He's arguably the best receiver coming out, in my opinion. Put that on what I would consider the best running back. My team's gonna be beast mode.
That's true. So I'm gonna go, and at this point, there's a couple of ways you can go, but I'm gonna go back to another running back. In this type of format, catches definitely mean something. So I'm gonna go I'm going to go with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. If he gets to a team that's going to really utilize his skill set, take him at number 6 would be very fair. Generally in the first, 4 to 5 picks are like the chalk guys. So if you're not there, you really have to hope somebody falls. In this mock, we're kind of going down the list. But I think he's a nice consolation if you're in the middle rounds, somebody who can run the ball as well as get catches for you.
Well, I think, thinking longevity in the quarterback, in the dynasty league, a guy who's going to be around for a while for me, I'm going to go quarterback Joe Burrow and just, have a guy who, all starting quarterbacks produce in the NFL in fantasy. If they're the starting quarterback, you're going to get points out of them, and now I've got a solid guy for a long period of time.
Ooh, it's a tad early, but if he's as good as everybody says that he is, it's one of those that could definitely pan out because he has underrated rushing upside. And you always want a quarterback who is going to be able to either throw for a lot or run for a lot. And if you can get a guy like Joe Burrow who has the ability to do two or both, you might have some people being, looking at you sideways, but then you're winning fantasy leagues and, you're shrugging it off. So, all right, back to you, Kyle.
I'm going to go Cam Akers. I think he's going to be a scheme-specific kind of guy, maybe. But I think he's got some upside, Alvin Kamara upside, in terms of I think he's going to be explosive enough to make some plays in the NFL.
Right.
Given the opportunity. You might not get some goal line work out of him, but I think that given 4 or 5 years on a rookie contract, I like the chance of him being pretty good. But like you said, everything from that top tier is kind of a crapshoot anyways.
Yeah, it'll definitely depend based on where they go. But if he gets to a really good team like with Edwards-Helaire, it's a really nice consolation prize because it's a deep class. All right, back to you, Jamar.
Back to me. So me personally, I'm about to team up my receivers here, and I'm gonna go Henry Ruggs. I don't know. I think there'll be a good dynamic, especially just moving them from college to the pro. That would be a beast mode team. If I could do this in the real fantasy draft, I would be so excited. If this was real life, that team would be unstoppable, in my opinion.
All right, so that I was really wondering where Ruggs was gonna go because I think and I think Jamar, you have a really strong team, and I think that Ruggs is going to be a good player. But I think that Henry Ruggs has definite potential to be like the Marquise Brown of last year, where he gives you 2 or 3 amazing weeks and then he goes away for several weeks at a time. If this is me in somebody's draft and Justin Jefferson is there right here, I'm sprinting up to the board to put that sticker on or clicking that button as fast as possible. I think Justin Jefferson has the ability, as far as fantasy-wise, to be one of the top 2 receivers, like ahead of Judy or Lamb, because those guys are going to potentially go to a team that might not be as efficient throwing the ball. And because he's later on in the draft, he could go 21 to the Eagles. And if he goes 21 to the Eagles, all bets are off. As much as I love Lamb and Judy, if I have a mid-round dynasty pick, I'm salivating over the option of somebody's going to take Lamb and Judy, I'm going to fall back on Justin Jefferson playing for the Eagles. So, a taller receiver can still get in and out of routes. I think he's a great player to have. Back to you, Tony.
I'm going to go T. Higgins.
That's a good one.
Clemson. Red zone guy. Can run routes.
It's a good pick. Good pick. This is a deep class. Like, generally, at this point, you're like, this sucks. Like, a deep class.
So, I missed the parameters. This is a 12-round mock.
Yeah, 12 team.
I want Zach Moss.
You want who?
Zach Moss.
Oh, okay.
You know I'm plus on him. but so here's the thought. I don't see another 1,000-yard rusher in here. Probably not.
Right.
In the first couple years.
Right.
On the right roster, he might fall into the end zone 8 times this year. If I can get a touchdown, well, first of all, are you going to play this guy every week? Probably not. But if he falls into a role behind someone who got hurt, he can get you 20 carries. With 20 carries, you might be able to get 100 yards and a touchdown.
Or with the right team.
Right,
Or with
yeah.
the right team, yeah.
That's what I'm going with. Because, some of these other receivers, who knows if they're even going to sniff the field a little bit.
Right.
Like, I'm not high on Chenault. T. Higgins is nice, but some of these other guys, I don't love them.
Yeah, that's fair. So that's number 12. So you have number 1 in the second round. So go ahead and go back.
So I'd be picking for that same team again.
Yeah.
I think from there, I'm going to go with Michael Pittman.
Bruh. Bruh.
Fight on. Yeah, he's so. We haven't profiled him yet, but he's smooth, and he has a lot of upside. He's a touchdown maker, and he's going to be in the NFL a guy who can score in the red zone.
Okay, he can be a vertical guy for you. I'm real upset with this pick. but yeah, he's a great player. Hopefully he goes to a team that's gonna be able to utilize him. But number 2 in the second round, Jamar.
Next pick for my team, I'm going with another receiver. My team is receiver heavy. Running this 4.39 40. I'm going Denzel Mims.
Denzel Mims. All right. Definitely another strong receiver class. We have the ability to get him maybe at 7 in the second round to the Carolina Panthers would be, their number 1 guy there, something along those lines. So we did a profile on him. Definitely somebody who can win down the field vertically in the red zone as well. So very strong selection there. I think right here it's really tough in the second round of a draft without knowing what players are going to go on what teams. But at this point, I think you can start considering quarterback. If I knew where they were going to go, I would probably take a second round pick to utilize maybe on Tua or Herbert because he's probably a better runner. But what I'll do is I'll go Jalen Reagor. Jalen Reagor is another guy similar to Henry Ruggs who's going to win with speed, can make plays with the ball in his hands. So I'm gonna go with Jalen Reagor, wide receiver out of TCU.
Is that me?
We're going
Snakes, right? Or
So,
me.
Yeah, it's you.
Yeah. So I'm going to go for a guy who had a pretty, and it's kind of just picking him on. One big performance against the national champions LSU, Keyshawn Vaughn, running back out of Vanderbilt, 130 yards, 2 TDs against LSU, average 6.4 yards per carry in his final 2 seasons, and I don't know, could be a good second back.
But like Tony said, he played well. He has good lateral agility, solid strength, decent speed, very solid all around back. I think when I did my scouting on him, I think I gave him like Noshawn Moreno as a comp, solid NFL running back.
Take a couple good years out of that. He was a first round running back some of those years in fantasy. So.
Right, exactly.
So for me, when you start getting into this second round, especially with rookies, you're looking for long-term or some sort of instant production. I'm going to go with... Why is fucking Donovan Peoples-Jones on here? I'm going to go with Antonio Gibson. And I think that's going to be scheme team specific, but the guy scored 14 touchdowns on 30 something touches this year. Big, strong, fast, and hopefully you can get him the ball somehow, and you'll figure out how to score. So that's where my head is. Plus, he might be position versatile, and you can play him anywhere.
Yeah. All right, back to you, Jamar.
I've been saying it. I want dude on the Chargers. I think we're making a mistake by taking what's probably going to happen. But I'm going with Herbert. I'm going with Justin Herbert.
I like him over Tua. He might play early on. Who knows about Tua? He might be hurt the whole time.
Well, and I think with Herbert, with fantasy football, like we mentioned before, like you want somebody who has rushing upside, because the amount of rushing yards to passing yards, you're getting more points, in the round of rushing touchdowns to passing touchdowns, you're getting more points. And when you're looking at rookie, quarterbacks, they're not coming out and throwing for 4,500 yards. Like you're looking at like 3,500 or so. You're gonna have your fair share of turnovers. You want that high rushing upside. So I think that's a good selection for sure. I think at this point, I'm going to be that guy. Is anybody taking Laviska Shenault? All right, good.
Pass.
I didn't have to be that guy. So he has a lot of injury history. The best thing about fantasy football is that injuries hurt you, but at the same time, it's a dynasty league. So if he doesn't pan out right away and he's still dealing with injuries, you can leave him on your taxi squad or leave him deep on your bench. But he definitely has some nice physical traits as far as run after catch ability, high point ability. He definitely needs to work on his route running, but is a guy who could potentially help you out down the road.
I'm going Brian Edwards. He broke his foot going into the combine, so doesn't have any combine tape or recent tape. But
I seen
it.
Yeah, he's nice.
Yeah, he was good in South Carolina, and at 17 years old had like 600 receiving yards or something like that. And it's a true freshman. It's got to have some NFL prospect there.
Right.
I like it. I'm gonna go with Jordan Love. I think whoever drafts him is going to end up having to play him. In quarterback rushing yards and quarterback rush touchdowns are gold, especially when you don't have to give up much for him. And best case scenario, they're talking about, I don't believe it, but Patrick Mahomes. You could dynasty someone like that forever, or you get a guy who can rush for a couple touchdowns every year.
I think we have more picks.
We have one more round.
Yeah, we have one more round. All right, Jamar, back to you.
Last round?
Yeah, last round.
Last round, doing something outrageous. I've been known to do this in my fantasy drafts.
All right.
I'm picking another quarterback.
You suck. You suck.
Picking another quarterback.
I hate you.
This man Tua.
Never mind.
You can have him. He'll sit injured on your bench all year.
Have him.
Forever.
I'm taking Tua and I'm shopping him. He's on the block immediately. or I'm gonna do the week by week thing based. I'm gonna play the matchups with the two quarterbacks.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
Trade bait.
That's fair. All right.
I can see the trade bait game.
Yeah. I mean, especially if Tua turns into a upper echelon passer. I mean, you always want those guys, and if he's gonna be a guy who can be a top level fantasy quarterback for the next 3 to 5 years, people are gonna be wanting to give you something for him. So the reason that I thought you were going quarterback is because I'm going Jalen Hurts.
That's where I thought he was going.
Yeah, I thought you were going Jalen Hurts. We talked about it already. Rushing upside. Jalen Hurts in his freshman year at Alabama had 900 rushing yards, 13 touchdowns. As a senior at Oklahoma, he had 1,200 rushing yards, 20 touchdowns. He's not a small guy. He's 225 pounds. He's a thicker guy. He's not rushing for 1,200 yards in this league. Like, that's not what he's going to do. But could he get you, 606 or 608 maybe on a good year, and then throw for, 3,200 yards, close to 20 touchdowns and 10 picks or so? Like, he didn't throw for more than 10 picks in college, and this is not college, but he's definitely a player at the end of your second round or even in the third round of your rookie draft that you can sit on there. And he's a much better fantasy quarterback than he is real life quarterback. And I like him as a real life quarterback. So I'm going Jalen Hurts there, quarterback out of Oklahoma, 22.
My next pick, I'm gonna go row the boat to Minnesota. Go back home, pick up some Tyler Johnson.
Okay.
And
who we will be profiling.
Yep.
He seems. I mean, he had he is part of the reason Minnesota did so well this year, and I think it's gonna give him a year, maybe two, and he'll be an explosive wide receiver in the game.
All right, Mr. Relevant. Number
Tell
24.
you know where I'm going.
Lynn Bowden Jr.
Lynn Bowden. Too much talent. He could end up being Deebo Samuel, who was I don't know stats, but he was a guy who was on a lot of championship rosters.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You have some rushing upside. You're going to get the ball in space, doing a lot of different stuff. He's super explosive. And, if he ever ends up playing Wildcat quarterback, even if he's getting 4 carries a game, that's plus.
Yeah, exactly.
That's plus upside.
Exactly. Definitely a guy who is really quality for a fantasy football roster. Can put you in there, and if there's injuries or something ahead of him, or he gets on a really dynamic offense, he can do some stuff for you. So to recap, we have this 2020 Dynasty Rookie Draft half point PPR. Number 1, running back Jonathan Taylor. Number 2, running back DeAndre Swift. Number 3, wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. Number 4, running back J.K. Dobbins. Number 5, wide receiver Jerry Jeudy. Number 6, running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Number 7, jumped up there, quarterback Joe Burrow. Number 8, running back Cam Akers. Number 9 was wide receiver. Oh, I skipped 7. 7 was Henry Ruggs.
No, 9 was Ruggs.
9 was Ruggs. I don't know numbers, guys. We established that early in the podcast. 9, Henry Ruggs, wide receiver. 10, Justin Jefferson, wide receiver. 11, another receiver, T. Higgins. We had number 12, rounded out the first round with Zach Moss out of Utah, running back. So then we started the second round, the first pick in the second round, which was number 13 overall. We had Michael Pittman, wide receiver. We had number 14, Denzel Mims, another wide receiver. Continue the receiver run. Number 15, Jalen Reagor. Number 16, we came back to running back Keyshawn Vaughn. Number 17, we had running back but could play some receiver Antonio Gibson. Number 18, getting back to the quarterbacks with Justin Herbert. Number 19, we took receiver Laviska Shenault. Number 20, we had receiver Brian Edwards. Number 21, we came back with quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. Number 22, another quarterback Jalen Hurts. 23, we had Tyler Johnson, receiver. And then number 24, we had another receiver, Lynn Bowden Jr. So there you have it. There's our top 24. We'll do another review when we come back after the draft. Once people are already in their spots, it'll be a little bit easier to kind of project what they're going to do this season. So we have another pod where we'll review our community mock draft, and we'll do potentially a live stream of the NFL draft. So until next time, this is Dante.
Tony.
Kyle.
Mark.
And we're out.
Still an hour.